This is it. Everybody wanted a Laugh and Learn Light Language Part 2. That's right, Part 2. We have the amazing JJ, Tuta Speaks, and Karen, Starseed Awakening, 1111. I'm Tarot Stash. Hi. Thanks. Thank you for being here, you amazing people. So
We're all amazing. Look at them in the chat.
yes, and I've gathered some questions that we weren't able to answer the last time, so I have those. And if people have other questions, please pop them into chat. Please pop them in with in caps with some emojis. So because the best chatters are actually bringing it already. So it's lovely to see everybody. And JJ, how are you?
I'm doing really good. I enjoyed the eclipse energy, and I'm feeling pretty settled. Thank you for asking.
Good. How about you, Karen? Because we had eclipse, a new moon, Friday the 13th.
I think that I am going to have to go out and then come back in because I hear everything twice.
Okay.
Okay.
We won't talk about you while you're gone. I promise. We won't talk about you.
Damn.
She'll have to watch the playback. Well, we'll say hi to some people. How's that?
Perfect.
So, so a lot of great people here. Leah is here, Indigo Jaguar, Intuitive Arts. Jonathan Daly is frustrated with YouTube not giving him notifications.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne is here, but cooking.
Always.
And I want him to cook for me.
Me too.
Janet C, Annie Bear, and okay. Let's see. And Trouble.
Trouble's here.
Trouble is here. And Karen is saying, join us over on Tarot Stash. Basically, this is simulcasting, so you may not see everybody in the chat. I will do my best to make sure that everybody is here. So, and
is that better, Karen?
Is that better?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That was
Is
horrible.
that better? Is that better? Is that better? Is that better?
It was like that, but then a lag. So I was like,
oh, okay.
So the eclipse. Oh, JJ and Lisa and Debbie had a really good show, and I watched that.
Yes,
and
they did.
I was kind of amazed because everything that people were describing, I had actually been going through lack of sleep, that whole to vivid dreams and just kind of wanting to crawl in a shell. So yeah. Still have my cough.
And for me, and I mentioned this, JJ, during the live with you, Lisa, and Debbie, energetically, I need to sleep to sort through all of that energy, all of the energy shifts. So I took like a 2.5 hour nap in the afternoon right after the eclipse was happening to sort it out. And I was sleeping really, really heavily, but that is how I process all of it. It's like and it was very, very active dreaming.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Did you feel rested when you woke up?
I did. I felt rested, and sort of I'm not a runner, so I've never had that runner's high that they talk about. But I'm going to say it was like that. I felt rested and I felt energized. It was awesome. Like, oh yeah. So
that's great.
Yeah. So a lot of lovely people here, and good to see everybody. All right. Sal Rods is here. Hello. Rose Blue. PD, the Tarot Lounge is here. And I'm just trying to get everybody caught up so we can see everybody. Because I do want to get to the questions, because there's some really good questions. Hi, Pierrette and Burr Cottage. Hello. Up here's Suzanne. Hello. So, okay. They're eating now. So thanks. Send us a picture. So, Trouble Stash. That's totally me.
That's funny.
Yeah, Trouble with a capital T. So, hi, Rose Beauty. So, okay. I'm trying to sleep, not able to. We are not doing personal readings. We're talking about light language. So, Beth had an interesting question. I wonder how the eclipse affects animals.
Yeah. Today, on Lisa, when we did the on the couch, Lisa's cats were actually fighting, which is not a normal thing. They were like going all around, and my dogs are more active right now. So yeah, I believe it is affecting the animals.
Yeah.
Atticus is still sleeping, and when Gerald and I were, before we got on, River was actually climbing on the computer, and she never does that. And she was just like mounted herself right here. So
Heather has been getting, better sleep. Yeah, JJ needs good sleep tonight.
Yeah, I was up at 3. I was like, "What's happening at 3? What's going on?" And then I had a hard time falling asleep.
Yeah. Yes, the anxiety dreams have been every night. Okay. So, oh look, here you go. That's my Jeffrey. That's my Jeffrey.
Cool.
So, and okay, so let's get into okay, yes. Bodhi has been super grumpy, but the surgery is a factor too. Yeah. Yeah. So, and my dog Rosie is more playful, joyful. That's cool. And oil painter, hello. My 14-year-old lab was trembling yesterday. I felt so bad for her. Aww. And did you just like cover yourself in like white, Karen?
No. Yeah, I put my coat on backwards because
getting cozy.
And we were getting cozy. Had to turn up the heat.
Okay, and Quilting Babe Suzanne asked JJ, did the Cody come back after we got off last night?
Yes, they were on the other side of the house, right at the end. Last night, I had my window open, and the coyotes just came in, and then the chihuahuas were joining in.
Nice.
Yeah, coyotes were easier to listen to than the chihuahuas.
So if people missed the first Laugh and Learn about light language, it is in the description below. And I captured some questions from the last one, so I'm going to pop those up. If you have additional questions to ask about light language, please put it all in caps. And the first one is from Heather, Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Arts. Does JJ or Karen do classes on developing a personal light language?
I did want to say something real quick before we start. I was wondering, because we did a quick little yet powerful thing at the end last time.
Yes.
With the throat. And I know I woke up with some throat issues, and I was just wondering how you guys were, because usually with a healing, we take a little bit more time on the other side, settling the energy. I was just wondering how everybody's throats were feeling since we saw you last. And I was wondering too, I feel tears. So just wondering if there's anybody out there going through some stuff, releasing some tears. Yeah. But then we can go to the questions.
Oh, sure.
Well.
No, I'm glad you said that. Karen, how have you been feeling?
Afterwards, I got pretty sick. But it was nothing for this. But there was a lot of release on my throat. a lot of releasing and a lot of, just kind of getting over that hump of never really being able to speak my truth. And so that's something that I'm working on, is speaking my truth with kindness. And
Sure.
so that was a big thing for me after that one.
Hmm. Yeah, Annie Bear said lots of healing and joyful tears. So I felt really energized, to be honest with you,
Good.
afterwards. So I was pretty clear. Um, so and I'm not seeing anybody.
Nope. It looks like they made it. They made it thus far.
They made it thus far. Yes. Yeah. Ian said, Karen, you've had that cough for 4 weeks. As she's coughing again, just to illustrate it. And
Yep.
and Leah said, we learned that Debbie understands Tuta. Does Karen have anyone who understands her light language? Karen, do you have anybody?
Do you want to answer that, JJ? I don't think so. I don't know that anybody has been able to translate it. And that even goes for me, because sometimes it isn't words that I can translate. Then other times, there have been times where I've spoke the light language and then immediately English has come in afterwards, and it's almost like a channeling. For me, I think it's on those times where I'm not understanding what I'm saying. It usually tends to be when it's going deep into somebody to do healing. And so I always get told, don't worry about the words, because it's the energy behind it. So I don't worry about what's coming out of my mouth. I just let it roll,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I still wish I had the eye thing like JJ does, but it's okay.
That was separate. That was separate than light language. That came out way before light language.
Oh,
My yes and no eye.
your yes and no eye. Okay.
Yeah, it happened when I was in Costa Rica, and it really freaked me out. And it started with my head. Like, if somebody asked me a yes and no question, my head would move, and I'm like, no, we're not doing this. Because I would be like, don't move your neck, and then my neck would get sore, and I'm like, we have to find a different way for spirit to say, help me out with the yes and no's. And so
yeah,
now I have these weird eyes. It looks like I have like Tourette's or something.
now you have weird eyes. Oh my gosh.
But I would say from the very first moment Karen spoke the light language, for me, it's a feeling. It's lots of different feelings. So I understand it as feelings. So yeah.
And that's, I would have to say that is how my guides work mostly with me, is through emotions and feelings. And, like some people can, like when someone who's passed comes in, like these guys are really great getting names. It's not something I ever try to chase, mainly for fear that I might be wrong. But they always come in with the feeling first of who they are, whether it's a grandfather or a mom, and then once I latch on to that feeling. So I think for me personally, it's just kind of individualized in that way, because I work best with emotions. And so they bring in the emotion of whatever's going to happen, whether it's a healing, or if I'm going to release pain, or if it's a releasing a heart pain, or even, and they're saying even tethering the light to the ground, whatever it is, it's all emotion based for me. And so I wouldn't be shocked that JJ would have felt the emotion behind that.
Yeah. Lovely chatters are continuing to be amazing, and okay, Brenda T said, I meant when JJ and Karen were speaking their light language, they really they heard you and they felt it. And this was at the end of the last video.
Oh,
Brenda T cried so much and didn't know why.
Oh,
So there
yeah.
was a lot of healing there, and a lot of people mentioned the healing and the release. So
Yeah. A lot of people describe more often than not when the language comes through, it reminds them of home. And it's just an understanding of home. And it is a common thing to cry when you hear the light language, the heart language, the soul language, whatever you want to call it.
well, and again, to remind people, that's just an emotional release. It's not a sadness. Oftentimes it's a joyful releasing, because suddenly it feels connected at a level that you haven't experienced before. So
Yeah, and it's almost, Gerald, like with your symbols that you get and you work with the symbols with people, it's like almost like yeah, it's an opening. And sometimes when there's an opening, there's a release. So
yeah, definitely.
well, and
We
that's,
still,
my guides are saying it's kind of no different than when you go, if you don't know this, going to the chiropractor, and that release that you get, there's actually, it releases a lot of stuck energy. And so sometimes that's what it is just that stuck, stagnant energy. So yeah.
that's incredible.
wow.
Leah really likes the sound of the light language. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's really curious when they talk about how did they build the pyramids and this and that, and sometimes I've heard that they move it with resonance, like with sound, and I'm like, wow, that would be really handy.
Yeah. And Suzanne said, I found that hearing Karen's language in person helped me relax.
Awesome.
So, and again, Karen, I'm going to heap praise in your general direction. So get ready. Are you ready?
Okay. Do I need, go ahead. Do I need my bills?
No, you don't need your, I mean, you can always, bills are always appropriate, but I'm just saying, there is validation of your power.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes we all need to have validation of that power.
100%. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. And Wayne asked if you lost your glasses again.
No, Wayne, they're right here.
Just not wearing them.
I cannot handle the green, like the light. I just don't like it. I don't like that I can, because then when I look at myself, all I see is these green dots, and I don't like it. So
plus Gerald's running the show.
Yeah. I've got to work. I just got to sit here and answer questions and zone out. And it does
work?
actually. No. You don't want me doing it. I'll forget to do something. No, but it does. Honestly, every time, even if I do a phone reading on the phone where someone cannot see me, I always take off my glasses and stare off. And I think it just helps me, with the scrying part. I'm not focused on anything. But if I have my glasses on and somebody crosses my path, bet that I'm going to be like, are they really wearing that? So I just, I'm blurry. Okay. I'm blurry. That's the way it works best.
Okay. So do either of you teach classes on developing personal light language?
I have on my website, tutaspeaks.com, you can click on Journey and you can sign up. It's $55 for an hour. And I help people with all sorts of things. But yeah, helping people develop light languages, however it is, like we described that before, it's through artwork, words, dancing,
colors,
symbols. Yeah. So yeah, $55. It's an hour. You can schedule it. You can pay for it. And I really do enjoy it. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
I do not, but not that it may be coming in the future. So I'm having a shift in my current reality, and I will be freer to do more things online. So
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, here, everybody, get your tiny hands up. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Where are my tiny hands? I didn't even take my tiny hands out. Oh, I don't know where my tiny hands went.
So Pia's Eclectic Life said, when I went to the Christian church, they taught us about speaking in tongues. Do you think this is similar to light language?
I was actually baptized in speaking of tongues. It wasn't something I went out to do. I was at somebody's born again Christian church. I was friends with her, and next thing you know, she's having me stand up and being baptized in speaking in tongues. This is a question I get often, and it's really interesting. I would lean towards yes, because it's a way to connect with sound, and opening yourself up like a channel. You know, in that case, I don't know a lot about speaking in tongues, but yeah, I feel it's opening up to your channeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. I don't know a lot about speaking in tongues either. I had witnessed it once, but I'm also not one to say, no, this isn't that way. If it's that way for you, then it's your path. And so it's just another form of connection, I think.
Yeah. So. And I agree. Jeffrey and I were talking about this earlier today, and as speaking in tongues, it just may be that the vibration is so different. We can't hear it with our ears.
Yeah.
But it's a perfectly formed sentence that we don't understand. So, okay. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Why do some people have the gifts and others don't?
Oh, I love this question. I think we all have it. And like anything, it takes practice. And there is this guy that I follow, and his name is Lee Carroll, and he channels Cryon. And he's got some really great messages. And one day I was listening to one of his things, and he was channeling Cryon, and Cryon described people that had gifts as an old typewriter. And just imagine if your typewriter stopped and it just kept pressing in the same spot over and over and over again. To the average person looking down at the piece of paper, it's just a black smudge, right? But for those of us who, quote unquote, have gifts, we're just taking the paper, instead of looking at it like this, we're taking the paper and looking at it like that, and we can see each individual letter. And I think that everybody has, isn't that cool? Isn't that a great way to describe it?
It's a good visual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just not looking at the paper flat on like this. We're just turning it sideways and looking at it this way. And we're able to decipher and decode however that seems fit. And with practice, I think we are, because the way that question, that they just gave it to me, the way the question is worded is to assume that one of us is better than the other, when that's not the case, that we are all powerful beings. And I got my funny guide here with me today, and he's going, you're just spiritual beings in a meat sack. That's what he said. So we're just in this meat sack having human experiences and going through the motion. But every single one of us is connected to spirit. Every single one of us has that gut sense, or that's, it happens daily. It's just we don't pay attention to it. And so once you acknowledge that that's what it is, you get more of it. So
Mhm. That would make sense, especially for how I see symbols.
Hmm.
And as I'm now realizing, I can manipulate the view of the symbols, can
Yeah,
stretch them.
Yeah.
like a different dimension of it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
I will say that I started my spiritual journey. What really helped me was taking a Reiki class because it wasn't a huge commitment. It happened in like a weekend. It wasn't super expensive or time consuming. I
Mhm.
really liked feeling the energy in that way and being able to, when you go to Reiki 2, you get the symbols to do like long distance healing, which is really helpful,
Yes.
especially the stuff that you see on the news, and you can send some, it feels useful, it feels hopeful. And I didn't have the gifts that I have right now because I practiced, and I had this class that I went to, and it was, we would do Reiki, but then we would also do mediumship because they taught Reiki and psychic development. And so I would go in there and I'm like, well, I'm good with the Reiki, but I'm not good with the psychic stuff, the mediumship. And so I would just make sure that I was in that seat every time it was possible for me to be in the seat to practice. And we wouldn't pick on each other. It was just like, okay, well, I'm seeing a duck, and we'd just go around the circle, and after a while you feel comfortable, and you're like, it's like a muscle that you're using. And so I agree that everybody, if you put the time, if you have the time to, and the curiosity, yeah,
Yes.
everybody could
Well,
do
and
it.
I would agree with you, JJ, because that really was my, my family. I had one of my friends, Anthony, that was on the show a long time ago, and he explained that, I grew up in a family of people that, and I don't know the correct term. If you want to say occultism, if you want to say metaphysical, I mean, my family were Rosicrucians. And so I was raised with some of these beliefs already instilled in me. I knew how to manifest at such a young age.
Sure.
I knew how to do things at such a young age. So for me, things were happening to me that I did not understand. I took a Reiki class so I could understand what I was doing naturally.
Hmm.
And and that kind of helped me zone it in, so it
Yeah,
was, and I would agree.
that's exactly why I went to shamanism school with Alberto Vialdo, because I'm like, they're showing me things, but I'm like, it's more in line with shamanism. So I went to a month-long school to
Mhm.
24/7, and it was just really nice to learn more about it from a human.
Yeah. Peter J.
I'm
Weiss said,
human.
more of us need to realize that we are all connected to spirit and that we are all energetic beings.
Nice.
So, and a
And
lot of other,
I
go
would
ahead.
say this on his comment is,
Hmm.
I would, how do they want to say this? We would invite you to figure out how much time that you spend looking at the news or looking at anything like that, especially in the times that we have now. Like, time yourself. And if you spend 30 minutes, they're inviting you to spend 30 minutes of sitting in love and sending love out.
Yes.
Because, as energetic beings, this is a really intense time for us. Spiritually speaking, they're saying this is really intense for the earth. And we need to even out that, drastic stuff with love and light. And so they're inviting you to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is one of those things that if more people spent time doing that, if everybody did
Mhm.
5 minutes of that a day in the world, imagine the energy shift that could happen. So, and they've done
Yeah.
science on that. So they've
Yes.
done that.
I
So
mean, my guides are telling me that this is an extremely, extremely important time to do that right now with everything that's going on, because energetically we need to go that route. We need to spend more time sending light and love out.
Yes.
So.
This was a question Richie posed last week. Yes, or a statement. I think we try to hear it audibly like a human would, but we maybe should try to hear it spiritually by energy or frequency.
I would 100% agree.
Fan Thwarp worthy. Yes, that statement is Tarot Stash approved. I love it.
I got my bills. He
got
pulls
your
out his fan. I'm pulling out my bills. I would definitely agree with that. I mean, when JJ speaks, there is a part of me that is, and I can't help it. There's a part of me that my brain goes into the words and hearing the words, and it's almost like I feel like there's words that I need to catch, and I have to catch myself out of that and then feel it spiritually. So
yes. Yes.
Yeah, and with light language, however it is that it emerges from you individually, it is like a back door, because it's like if you're just working on somebody face to face, it's just nice when you just go like around the corner, and like with sound therapy, music, dancing, the things that make you feel emotions. It's like, it's just this other way, instead of like a human being in front of a human. It's just, sometimes it's easier for people to receive that way.
Yes. And one of the wonderful things about the energy work is people don't have to believe in it for it to work. It helps, but they don't have to. They don't have to. Okay. And Richie also said, it seems like everyone hears it differently because it's what's familiar to the person who hears it.
Yeah.
And yes, and I would also say that it evolves and grows as we do as individuals. So
yeah.
Why are some people more connected to light languages than other people?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too. I would actually, could we pull cards on this? Like, I'm actually curious what Spirit has to say.
I love it. Could we pull cards on this? Well, yes.
If we only had some people here.
If I only had a tarot deck. All right. So we're pulling some cards on why are some people more connected to light languages than others? Hi, Dee.
So what they're showing me is the past lives. And I think that one of the things that some of us are starting to realize, that we do have these star families. We do have these other languages. We are starting to feel connected to other planets, other solar systems. And they just keep showing me, like, for instance, JJ, they just keep showing me JJ on Mintaka. And I'm like, that's where I know you from, JJ. So anyways, it's something from long, like a past life from back there. And so that's why it's familiar. And then they automatically show me like the cricket language. I call it the cricket language. Those clicks, that does not resonate with me. And I've said that before, because that's not my planet. That's not like, that's That's not me, you know? So it's a different language that just does not, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not something I resonate with because that's not my lineage per se. They just show me this long line of lives in different places. And so that's what I would say is some people aren't going to be connected that way.
Mm-hmm. I picked some cards, and out of 4 cards, 3 of them are major arcana. So why are some people more connected to light language? I got death. Some people have already done some of the transformation that needs to happen to be able to connect to it. They get out of themselves. Certain things have died away. They have also figured out how to exist with a foot in both worlds. They have this tendency of being able to weave back and forth, so to speak, whether they do it consciously. Probably people who are manifestors of some kind can suddenly make things work together. I have the King of Pentacles. So for me, this is someone who somebody had mentioned that it could be part of a soul contract. And this feels like a soul contract. I've agreed to do this, and I've agreed to do this at this certain level. And then the last card I got is the World. Some people are willing to look at things from a broader perspective than just what they see within that realm. And it feels to me there is a connection that these people are aware of things that are different than just what is in my immediate surroundings. There's other things that are influential. And sometimes they can see it and they can believe it. It's not a hard sell, so to speak. So, JJ, what are you thinking?
It's just so interesting that I love it. I forget when you just remind me when you say Mintaka. Is that what it is? Because, and that's a planet, right?
Yes.
Is it a planet?
Yep.
Yeah. Because when my language came through, they used the name Nanitaka. So every time you say that, I'm like, oh my God, you're speaking my language. But they were bringing a lineage makes a lot of sense because they went to the belly area, and it's similar to birth. It's like a birthing, like a birth lineage type thing. So that's what I get.
I pulled cards and JJ. I thought this was great because these are soul cards. And so, look at this, here's this planet, the sun, it's happy. And then there's that connection to this person, and we were talking about connection and lineage. And I thought that was, pretty cool that was the card that I picked. So to me, it's just all about connection and lineage. And then I asked, I usually don't do cards. You all know that, but I just went ahead and pulled. And then the next one that I got was Karmic Heart or Cosmic Heart and Cosmic Christ.
Ooh.
Okay.
So again, to me, that was all about the connections that we have, So yeah.
Definitely. Beth added something. Beth said, interesting because of the group of languages found only in Africa that use clicking sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So, right. Is it okay if I move on to the next question?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Well, here's a statement from Shaw Woman. Words have energy, and to add and align to frequency would be very powerful. I think that had to do something with, as we were talking about poetry and singing. in that. So,
Well,
have-
and sorry, go ahead, Gerald.
go.
I would add to that, and we also need to be very cognizant about the words that we say to ourselves. And this eclipse, they're saying that my guides are saying this is a really powerful time to release some of those things. And it's like, they show me just someone ripping open their heart and releasing those things that don't fit anymore, and those, your cells are powerful. Your body is powerful. Your words are powerful. So if you keep, they say, perpetrating the old wounds, you continue to have the sickness and the stuff that you have. And so it's about changing the words and changing the energy for ourselves to know that we're healed and we can make it through all of these things that some of us, because they show me just a lot of people releasing a lot of things, but it's time to change your words and tell your body how wonderful you are, how healthy you are, how all of these things, and then you'll see some healing happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ian was complimenting JJ.
Thank you.
So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Are all light languages based on extraterrestrial cultures? And this is from Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Arts from last time.
Okay, I'm going to bring some light language in.
Okay.
Tutanama ukapa urshima ma ka urshima ye tana ka urshima ye tana pa utanama urshewa yewa no ikayewa. Ashema ye tana pa ku urshe mpa urshima turka urshima ma ye ma urshima kuka. Ye tana tono pa ku ma urshima yewa nuita ma nuita nashtita. So they're talking about how this dust has settled, and I'm looking at it, and it does have like a lunar, the planet surface looks kind of like that. And so this dust, it's like we settled here. Atutana ka ushewa, and then this great wind, ashtitano kana tanashtita, picked up the dust, almost like it's looks like a tidal wave of dust being pushed. And they're like, it's time to go. It's time to go to another place. It's time to go settle somewhere else. So with that understanding, I would maybe not say extraterrestrial, but off-world, I guess. That's just another way of saying it, I guess. Yeah.
I would agree. So, again, my funny guide is with me, and he always has jokes for things. And he's like, well, they don't like to be called extraterrestrial, And so he's like, star family, something, it's the I don't have the word because he's not giving it. It's the way in which the word is used sometimes in a negative sense, even though you're not meaning it that way. Is that, that's where I'm kind of hearing it's like that they would like the extraterrestrial word to go away because it promotes fear for some reason. They show me fearful. And so star family, you said another word, JJ.
Just off planet.
Off planet.
Where I usually live.
Yeah. In the ether. Over there.
Yeah.
I was thinking of what the image I had was stardust. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stardust around. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think we already answered it. Are there people that can understand your light language? Okay. Okay. So before I go to the starred questions, anything that either of you want to share about what the best chatters are bringing up in chat? Because there's 50 people who are watching, thank you for being here.
Mhm.
And anything that you probably have seen stuff that I have missed. So,
I haven't seen anything.
well, yeah, Karen's not using her glasses, and her fan of Bill's
Oh,
is so heavy that she can't do that. So, yeah,
yeah. I like what Lori says about calling them a galactic family.
yes,
Yeah.
it's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah, time and space are an illusion. Yeah.
I like what D said. There you go.
Yeah.
We have all forgotten more than we admit to ourselves. Fear is a trap we
Mhm.
make for ourselves. Yes.
Yeah.
And Fogo said, I sent JJ an email with a picture. Not sure she got it.
Yeah. I did get it. And she was explaining how when she hears light language, it shows up, like on as an equalizer for music.
Oh,
It has like the different lights, the like column of lights, and I thought that was a really beautiful way to experience because it's frequency. And yeah, I thought that was pretty fantastic. So thank you for sending that to me.
Can
and
you star?
Star who?
That's the one I was going to ask you to star. The one you just did.
Well, yeah, this is my Jeffrey. I wonder if either JJ or Karen have started speaking in light language and not realized it.
Do you mean like as we're sitting down having a conversation, it just starts pouring out, like that kind of thing?
I think that's how
Yes,
I'm
that's what
understanding
it
it.
I had noticed, and when I had been out to Colorado, that it felt as though, and this is very odd, it felt as though my sentences had light language underneath it, even though there were some times where things were happening where I was speaking in English here, but undertoned with light language at some times, and there was some, some times where that was able, we spoke it freely. But I would say, yeah, there have been times, and there's been times where I've been, out, maybe on a date, and then it started to come out, and I'm like, oh, we just take it.
Yes.
Don't know how I'm going to explain that, but okay.
Yeah, I think the closest is the same way where it just wants to come out. And I have to my English will be terrible. And I'm like, okay, let me just get this out. And it is weird when you're around people who might be at the grocery store, and yeah. And I've had it come out like when I was at the doctor, if they have to do something that for my best and highest good, but it hurts, my language will come out. Yeah. Like they were really torturing me. They had to see where my heart was miscommunicating, like which chamber. And so I was like laying naked on this metal table. This sounds a lot like an off-world abduction, but so I'm laying on this table naked and they're like charging these different parts of my heart. Why am I naked? I don't know, but it hurt so bad that my language came out, and that's when they stopped. They were just like, they're like, do you speak another language? And I'm like, yeah, it's the language of fucking hurry this up because it hurts.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Gosh.
But yeah, and I yell at my husband in the language, but that's all. It's all mindful. Yeah.
It's all mindful. Mindful yelling.
That's mindful yelling.
All right, I'm trying to.
Hey, Lisa.
Lisa's here. Annie Bear wants me to look at the Guardian comment, and I may have missed it. I have missed it. So,
yes, you can have more than one language.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely. And it's really interesting too, because if I'm working with somebody, a different language will come out for somebody. Like people will hear. I had these two people from Hawaii, and I said like a sentence, "Are you ready now?" And I don't speak that language. And then sometimes people will hear Hebrew, and I don't speak that either. So yeah, I have been. Yeah, like the clicking and the bird sounds, sometimes that comes out for certain people when I'm near them. So yeah, it does.
And the way they show me is it's very weird what the picture that I'm seeing here. It's like I'm seeing different letters, and in between those letters, it's as if someone has crocheted or knitted in between there, and it's all woven
Oh,
together. And so it's very interesting. So they're saying that, yeah, you can also, it can come out. And it's almost like we're going to put it out this way for the broader audience. So,
yeah, it's so important because especially when the clicks or like whale sounds or something like that, it's so important to have people you can bounce it to, like because it's like when it came out, I had this really beautiful community where we were already doing, energy work. And so I was able to really comfortably go home and share this with everybody. But then you have people who, um, you know, I'll hear it, and I love hearing other people's light languages because I can explain to them how it makes me feel, and just knowing that your light language has certain feelings to it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable and validated, and just know that you're a key that can like open up things in other people. And
yeah.
if it sounds really weird, or if your artwork is really weird, or your dance is really weird, sometimes weird for other people, you may keep it to yourself. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes we really need those light languages to emerge.
And I think sometimes the light languages they'll help they'll blend so that you can develop your own dialogue. So I found it. This is Guardian's comment. My body has started shaking again. These shows are doing something to me, but I like it. So
Just let's hold on, because we don't want people to like and then okay, so it's like similar to what they were explaining with how the dust is settled and there's like a huge wind that comes in. It's like the little particles of you are getting blown. Like the wind is blowing these little particles in you, like a remembering. Sometimes remembering something that you forgot does make you feel a little shaky.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And okay. And Leah asked, may I ask if your sources for light language, do you get names of these energy sources?
Mine are called tuta. That means teacher in the language. So there's more than one. It's kind of, I have my like regular people. There's like a grandma. When grandma comes out, the grandmother, it's pretty serious. And then I have it's tuta. There's different names in my language for like if someone's a seer, they'll call them like the tita instead of tuta. Like there's different. Yeah, they did teach me, like in the beginning, I really wanted to understand it. So I asked a lot of questions, and now I just I don't ask too many questions anymore, because I don't want to, like, I don't know. If I ask other people like what's up with this, why do I have this light language, and it's like I don't want to dilute any of it, So
And I would have to agree with JJ. I think for me, at my time where I was trying to understand my gifts the most, and I was diving headfirst and trying to read everything and get every class and figure it out and get a name. And that was at my worst connection point. When I decided, you know what, I'm just going to be an open vessel. That is what I'm going to be. So I asked my brother to be my gatekeeper. My brother passed away. He's my gatekeeper. He protects me from anything negative. And I don't ask questions. I just go into it with a prayer in my head before I ever start, for protection for me, for protection for the other person, and anything for their highest and best good. And I don't ask questions. I don't even ask their names. I just know. And for those people that have read for me and they've met my guides will tell you, some of them speak so fast that you're just trying to really catch it. And some of them, have attitudes where they'll turn around and not talk to you. And some of them are comedians. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
And some of them do both, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
They're comedians who talk fast. So, yeah.
So for me, I never wanted, I realized that I personally, and this was just my personal thing, did not need to be worried about the names, and I didn't need to be worried about the origin, because I get so caught up in wanting to figure it out that it doesn't work for me that way. I have to go into it just knowing and understanding that all I am is a vessel of allowing this information to flow through and out. And that's how I kind of try to stay in that space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kaylee said, I have found, at least to my ear, light language seems to have some familiarity to various Earth Aboriginal languages, but not solely that, as there are definitely other words, sounds not Earth-like.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Annie, I don't think well, I was just going to tell Annie, I don't think I'm going to be able to sing today and not cough.
Aw.
Aw. No, and I think the beauty of all of it is back to that is I'm a believer is to name something is to control it. And I like the idea of, I'm a person who I am a collector of experiences, things, tarot. I'm curious, and that curiosity allows me to be the alchemist and allow things, all of that information to filter in through me and through this physical body, and it tempered by spirituality.
Yeah.
And then who knows what comes out. Well, heck, just last week I was like, oh, you mean my symbols are light language?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what?
Yeah, and that's so correct. And actually 2 of my guides just stood up, and one of them's Sirius. They're like, we gave you our names. One of them's Sirius, and one of them's Araya. But Araya is a star child, so she's star family. And both of those are star family, by the way. So, but yeah, I agree with you, Gerald. I think trying to, I always say, who says a tree is who says that that's really the name of the tree? No one has anybody sat with a tree and actually asked it its name, and maybe it would come out differently. So 100% I agree with you in that.
Yeah. All right, we are at 59 minutes or 60 minutes. And Jeffrey just told me, wait, I'm going to ask a question. Is there a different dialect that you use only to speak to the source of the language?
Wow, he's really good at questions.
He is very good at questions.
That's why I married him. We just celebrated a year, so there we go.
Yay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there a different dialect that we use only to speak to the source of the language?
For me personally, it comes in colors and emotions. And for me personally, there's no words to it. It's always emotions and colors.
Okay. So that's a yes, he says.
Yeah, I would say the language came through my my heart. So I guess a way to explain that is, like heart to heart, if that's a dialect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have a better word. That might be
Yeah,
in
he's saying better word. That's why I'm putting it in quotes. The
Yes,
dialect.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
No,
say
I agree.
for me- Go ahead, Karen.
No, I was just going to say, I'm glad he did that, because the minute I saw in quotations, that's exactly all the words just got wiped off, my vision here. And it was, like JJ said, that heart connection, that the lights, the emotions of it, the love, the intense love that happens. And as weird as this sounds, the high that we currently have when we're in this space, Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say for me, a lot of times there is if there is a language, it's really, for me, it's a knowing, and then I get to be the one to translate it into the human language that somebody can understand.
Perfect.
And I'm like going,
Very true.
good for me, yay,
Yay!
Hey,
Oh, look, hello, good to see you.
Hello.
hello,
Yeah, I
beautiful
love it.
lady.
The rainbow connection. So
Mhm.
okay, so we're at an hour. What would you like to do on the way out?
Oh, we have to do some language.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to let you two decide that, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it would feel good to like bring in, if it's possible, maybe to lighten the heavy. Let's lighten the heavy. There's so much heavy out there. You want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that goes with, spending let me get my bills out. Spending as much time. Come on, JJ, get with it. Spending just as much time as you do watching the news, trying to lighten that up with love and light. So I would agree, lighten the heavy.
I love this. Apparently, Rich, and there's a whole bunch of people who want us to do a third show. We have, people, our people need to contact each other's people. And, if I can be, if I'm allowed to have that much blessing in 3 weeks in a row, holy crap. But
Let me see. Where are we? We're October 15th.
Okay, well, let's get the phones out. We're all doing this.
We're all like, I'm old school. I'm like, I can't get my phone out.
I'm old school in two things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the
Yeah, I'm going to be here next week.
I can, do you want me to host next week?
Yeah. That sounds perfect.
Well, yeah, we want to put you to work next week, next Sunday.
Yep.
The 22nd. Okay.
22nd. Everybody mark your calendars. So yes, go ahead, JJ. We're doing something to lighten the mood.
Yeah.
And you're doing this. I'm like going.
I'm checking it. Check. We'll be here next week. Yeah. I'm hearing Karen's language. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They're like, I'm hearing it. It's like the brat. Whatever that word is. The brat. Yes.
Okay.
I'll hold space.
Okay, you hold space because I think it's going to be in both English and. Okay.
Ooh, yep. Yep.
Ooh, yep. Okay, so umbratu ekne essene utama ashane uratu ata ama ekt. Utne essene utama ata ash. Ubra asane ete. Uma ukne ekt asunu ot. Atu. Atu. Umbrana etewe Utna ata ishne et numa aktu Umbra sane ete umna akt So they're really putting timelines together, and it's like watching these tubes of timelines kind of smushing together. And they say the heaviness of this one needs to go away. So one of the things about this
You muted yourself.
one of the things about the timelines getting smushed is the lightness and the releasing of the heavy. The stepping into yours and stepping into your light, into your power. Realizing that you're powerful beings and spiritual beings. And they go back to that picture of opening your heart. And open your heart and release. It's like your storyline of releasing everything that doesn't hold and fit into your soul anymore. Now's the time to release and be very focused on that love and light coming in. They show you all as little lights again, and I've had this picture before where everybody's a little light, and releasing all the dirt, all the grunge. Now's the time. And they're like, we have, like, this is for all the planets, like the universe, there's everybody's so far away from us. And, they're all watching, ushering in this new space, this bridge. So release the light, the heavy, the dirt, the crud. JJ, take it away.
Atutonomada, Kashima, Kitonomama, Shemaya Wanuita, Atutonoma, Shemaya Wanu, Ka Shemaya Wanuita, Aishawanuitana, Ha, Ishama Piama, Ushwa, Wash, Anuinama, Shemaya, Tutanama, Etetana, Ashtitana Tanunka, Ushemaya Wanuitanaka, Ushewa, Anuma, Ushemai, Itanoshtitayewa Nui. It's like chopping of the timeline is happening right now. Kiapano, Ushema, Yewa. And like flicking away the bad parts, the heavy parts. Yapakuna, Ushema, Uka, Yewa, Yewa. And it's like puzzle pieces fitting into the other timeline, like the two timelines that are kissing. Yetana, Ishtitano, Kama, Ushema, Yewa, no Ka, Ushema, Yewa. There's a blending, like the puzzle pieces of the two timelines coming together. Yapanu, Ishema, Kita, Ishema, Kima, Yawa, Ishewa. Aye, Nana, Ka, Ushewa, Yewa. And don't be surprised if your gifts, your skills come into fruition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the next 5 months. Whew.
And I spent time cleaning off the symbols. We need to dust the symbols. The symbols, whatever we are. If you have something, I would encourage you to dust off your candle holder, your spiritual areas, something so that it actually makes things more reflective and receptive.
Cool.
So,
It's funny
and
you should
I'll
say
end.
that.
We'll end on a bell.
there you go.
I love bells.
I will actually post another link in my community page that people can put questions in there so that
Yes.
I can capture them.
Yes.
So that's Tarot Stash. So everybody, thank you. All right. We will say goodbye. We will head out. Take care.